Welcome. Thanks for clicking. Zambia's political scene is changing as Innocent Kalimanshi predicts increased defections from the Patriotic Front to the ruling UPND, citing internal PF challenges and growing confidence in UPND leadership ahead of the 2026 elections. Innocent Kalimanshi apologizes to youths, defects to UPND. Lusaka, Zambia. Former Patriotic Front, PF, member Innocent Kalimanshi has publicly apologized to the nation's youth and announces defection to the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, marking a significant political shift as the country prepares for the 2026 general elections. Kalimanshi, also known in political circles for his past mobilization work within PF, made the announcement during a reception into the UPND fold in Chihuahua, where he was welcomed by senior party officials, including UPND Secretary General Batuka Menda and National Youth Chairperson Gilbert Laswaniso. In his address, Kalimanshi issued an apology specifically to young Zambians for any wrongdoing or misdirection during his time with the Patriotic Front. He framed the apology as part of a personal commitment to unity and national development, urging youths to rally behind President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND's vision for the country, a political realignment. The defection is emblematic of a broader trend of shifting allegiances ahead of Zambia's next major electoral contest. Kalimanshi expressed optimism that more former PF members might join the UPND in the coming months, suggesting a growing appeal to the ruling party's policies among certain opposition ranks. While in the PF, Kalimanshi was known for his grassroots work, particularly in mobilizing support during key party events and internal conferences. His departure from the party underscores ongoing challenges within the opposition as it seeks to regroup and define its strategy in the face of an increasingly competitive political landscape. Youth engagement and the road ahead. Kalimanshi's appeal to youth carries symbolic weight, given their central role in Zambian politics. The UPND Youth League, the party's official youth wing, has historically worked to involve young Zambians in governance and public life, and figures like Gilbert Laswaniso are influential voices for youth engagement in political processes. As the 2026 elections draw closer, defections such as Kalimanshi's may influence how both the ruling party and the opposition shape their campaigns, especially around issues like employment, governance, and opportunities for young people. Supporters of Kalimanshi argue that his move reflects a desire to be part of a governing agenda focused on stability and development, while critics may see it as symptomatic of larger political repositioning ahead of crucial polls. Either way, his transition to UPND has sparked discussion about political identity, accountability, and the role of youth voices in Zambia's future. Why Kalimanshi's defection matters for the UPND. Lusaka, Zambia. The recent defection of Innocent Kalimanshi from the Patriotic Front, PF, to the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, is being viewed by political analysts as more than just a routine party crossover. It signals a deeper shift in Zambia's political landscape as the country gears up for the 2026 general elections. Kalimanshi's move to the UPND comes amid a broader trend of defections from opposition parties to the governing UPND, particularly from the PF. His defection was marked by a public reception where he apologized to youths for his past political conduct and urged young Zambians to support the UPND's agenda, a symbolic realignment of street influence. According to Zambian Observer, Kalimanshi's switch matters not just because of his personal profile, but because of what he represents, a form of grassroots influence rooted in urban communities like markets and transport hubs. His ability to speak the language of everyday Zambians has been highlighted as a valuable asset for the UPND's political strategy. Political commentators say this reflects a reorientation of what is sometimes called street power in Zambian politics, the informal networks and mobilizers who can sway opinion among everyday voters, especially in informal settlements and among youth populations. Kalimanshi's move is thus seen as a boost to the UPND's efforts to broaden its appeal across different demographic groups, reinforcing UPND's electoral position. The significance of Kalimanshi's defection is also tied to timing. As the UPND prepares for the August 2026 election cycle, gaining figures like Kalimanshi may help the party project momentum and unity ahead of voters. Defections from the PF have been occurring in various parts of the country, indicating fractures within the opposition and potential strengthening of the UPND's base. While some analysts argue that political defections have long been part of Zambia's multi-party system, and critics sometimes dismiss them as superficial signals, the current pattern of crossovers is attracting particular attention because it could influence campaign narratives and party strategies in key constituencies, youth engagement, and broader appeal. Another reason Kalimanshi's defection is considered important is its connection to the youth vote. His public apology to young Zambians underscores how political actors are increasingly mindful of youth sentiments, a demographic that both the UPND and opposition parties are striving to win over with promises of employment, better services, and greater inclusion in national life. By aligning with the UPND, Kalimanshi sends a message that transcends his individual choice, suggesting a potential recalibration of support among grassroots influencers toward the ruling party. Whether this translates into electoral gains remains to be seen, but the political conversation surrounding the defection highlights its perceived importance. Kalimanshi predicts PF exodus as UPND emerges as default destination. Lusaka, Zambia. Political figure Innocent Kalimanshi has forecast a growing collapse of support within the Patriotic Front PF, suggesting that an increasing number of its members will defect to the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, as the 2026 general elections approach. Kalimanshi, who recently formalized his own switch from the PF to UPND, said his decision is part of what he described as a broader realignment taking place in Zambian politics. In public remarks that have circulated on social media, he argued that the UPND has effectively become the default destination for disillusioned PF members, citing dissatisfaction within the opposition ranks. The defection narrative has gained traction as Kalimanshi's move was publicly celebrated by UPND officials during his reception into party, where senior members welcomed defectors from multiple backgrounds, including PF ranks. A sign of waning PF cohesion? Kalimanshi's comments come against the backdrop of reported internal divisions within the PF, where leadership struggles and organizational fractures have been highlighted by political observers. The departure of prominent PF figures toward the UPND and Kalimanshi's own high-profile switch has underscored these tensions, with some viewing it as symptomatic of larger instability within the party. Political commentators note that defectors often cite both ideological disagreement and strategic consideration ahead of major polls as key motivators. Kalimanshi has been widely visible in Lusaka and online discussions predicting a continued erosion of PF's grassroots support among urban constituencies, particularly in Lusaka's Chiwama compound and other urban centers. UPND's position ahead of 2026. While the UPND has welcomed defectors, party leaders have tended to publicize defections as evidence of broadening appeal rather than solely unattractive opposition politics. Observers believe that such crossovers may help the UPND consolidate support in areas where the PF once held significant influence. However, critics of political defection argue that movement between parties is not uncommon in Zambia's multi-party system, and that shifts in allegiance alone are not always reflective of deep ideological change. Still, Kalimanshi's prediction reflects a broader ongoing debate about the balance of power as Zambia prepares for one of its most closely watched elections in recent history. What's next? As the campaign season intensifies, defections and public forecasts like Kalimanshi's are expected to remain central themes in national political discussions. Whether the PF will experience the kind of mass exodus he predicts, or whether it can regroup and present a unified challenge against the incumbent UPND, remains a key question for analysts and voters alike. Thank you for watching. For more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. Stay informed by subscribing, and until the next episode, one Zambia, one nation, and one people.